As long as this man stands at that marker for 8 hours, a rich man comes and hands him $50. It all started when he was sitting around in the park until a guy showed up and asked if he could do something for him for $50. He immediately jumped up and the guy took him to his new workplace. He showed him, quite literally, this square on the ground and said that he must not leave it, just like his previous employee. But since he was a student, he was totally into it. So he waited for 1 hour and passed the time by playing with his shadow. Then later, at 5:30 p.m., the man returned to give him the promised money. For his loyalty, the rich man offered him a proper job where he now has to stand for 8 hours every day, but now for $200. Since the guy was broke as a bum anyway, he took the job right away. He started working the very next day, and even his friends came to visit him. But when they invited him to the skate park, his absolute favorite hobby, he declined because he had to do his useless job. His friends were disappointed and tried to persuade him since nobody was watching him anyway, and then they left. Right after that, he wanted to challenge himself to leave the square because he really wanted to know if anyone was watching him. And when he tapped on the ground, nothing happened at first. But 8 hours later, the man did not show up this time, and he ended up standing for 8 hours of his life for nothing, like an NPC. He didn't give up though, and one day, a thief stole the purse of a handicapped woman and she begged him to help her. Not even for that was the godless man willing to leave his prison and help the woman. However, the rich man was astonished by this. But when he left, the guy became curious about where he always went and discovered his secret. The guy followed him, and when he saw him enter an apartment and go into a room, the man sat down and revealed that he was Ronald McDonald. The next day, the man gave the boy a better job. So he gave him a larger workplace with a better view and also a 30% pay raise. It wore him out though to constantly see people doing his hobby, but out of fear of losing his job, he simply couldn't do it. A few years passed and he was now an old geezer and finally ready to quit his job. In the end, he tried to make up for the time he had lost, but please subscribe.